Hey everyone, it's Jason here at AUSOUG 2018 here in Melbourne. I'm here with famous Connor McDonald. I had a chat with Stuart Coggins last night, and there was this thing on LinkedIn around moral responsibility for autonomous cars. So it actually did this A/B testing of you had this car and you had to swerve. Who would die? Someone in that incident would die, whether it's yourself, whether it's old people, young people, people that were criminals. There were numbers of people, whether homeless, whether you hit a concrete wall but saved some people, all these different modes. It was. I did it just to understand what I would do. I did it just to understand what are the different aspects to that, just to get an appreciation of the complexity of what autonomous actually means to take a moral stance.
Yeah, it's funny. I watched an interesting documentary by a guy who was a professor of ethics.
Yep.
And he was talking about the same thing, the self-driving cars. Yeah, and he was really deliberately trying to challenge an audience because he started off with, you're about to run into someone and they're 90 years old, or you could swerve and hit 500 school children coming out of the school, and of course everyone goes, oh well, we take that, take the sacrifice. And he said, that's fine. He said, but what you've implicitly done is now put a measurement on it. He said, so let's drop it to 20 school children.
Yes.
And then it was 5 school children versus 4 school children. Yeah, and he just kept messing with the numbers. He said,
Yeah.
so do you really want to put a quantitative measurement on these things, or would he come up with other? And he wasn't there to give answers. He was just saying, these are things we're going to have to challenge ourselves with, and make calls on.
There is no KPI for morals.
Yeah, so, although I have to admit, sometimes the way my kids behave, I would just plow in. Just like, I'd probably just accelerate. It's like, come on, car, speed up.
Because last year, I hosted with QUT this thing called TAD so Telecom App Dev Hackathon. And one of the people that I interviewed there, Dr. Monique Mann, who runs the School of Justice, we talked about this whole thing around even just law enforcement policies, the manufacturing side of who delivered what in that car. So what if Google did the driving system, but Tesla did the rest of the car? How did that?
And the brakes failed.
And the brakes failed, right? Or you did do someone. Then is it Tesla that actually is at fault?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so it becomes almost that legal power kind of ground in terms of who's at fault. Is it the person there at fault? Where you've got autonomous vehicles, you may we get this steering assisted type stuff that's appearing now. Then, what if that actually impacted the way that you drive?
And that sort of cycles back to my earlier point: is the next 20 years is going to be far more challenging for us than the 20 years after that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's both a good and a horrific time to be alive.